Redfield, New York, received 12 feet of snow last week. Its neighbors in Oswego are jealous because they got only 10 feet of snow. An Oswego resident told a TV reporter that one more storm was coming in that would determine the winner. "I hope we get 5 more feet," he said. "That'll beat Redfield. This is the most snow the region has received in 6 years. The people who worry about global warming should come visit us. They'll worry less," said a Redfield resident. He said any visitors would have to wait till some snow melted because most local roads were closed. Even the snowplows were waiting until after the next storm before they began to clear all the roads. Schools were closed all week. Most kids were happy about it. They couldn't go ice skating or skiing because the roads were closed. But they did play in the snow, make snowmen, and have snowball fights. "It wasn't a good week for me," complained one high school student. "I had to help my dad shovel all the snow off the roof. When he finished doing that, his dad asked him to shovel the snow off the driveway and the sidewalk. I can't wait for school to reopen." Tourists from around the world visit Hollywood. Buses take them past the Hollywood sign. At Grauman's Chinese Theater, they press their hands into the imprints of movie stars who long ago pressed their hands into wet cement. Tourists pause at the gold stars in the sidewalks with the movie stars' names on them. Buses drive past movie stars' houses. Tourists hope to see a star chatting with friends or tanning by the pool. Unfortunately, most of the houses are behind high hedges or down long winding driveways. Tourists are lucky to even see a chimney. And finally, tourists take pictures everywhere and with everyone. A popular picture opportunity in Hollywood is with movie characters like Chewbacca from Star Wars. However, Chewbacca might not be so popular anymore. Last week, outside Grauman's, Chewbacca gave 2 young female tourists a hard time. He kept trying to hug them as they took pictures of each other. The tour bus driver yelled at Chewbacca to leave the ladies alone. Chewbacca took off his headpiece, walked over to the driver, and head-butted him. The driver fell to the sidewalk. Someone called 911, and the cops came and arrested Chewbacca. Chewbacca was not apologetic. "Women come to America looking for Prince Charming, and here I am," he shouted to all. "I hope they leave him in jail," said a tourist who saw the whole incident. "That guy's an idiot." They say that Los Angeles is changing. In the past 2 weeks, a young woman was shot, and then her body was dropped off on a sidewalk and set on fire. This happened in broad daylight in a nice neighborhood. Another young woman's body was found lying in a dumpster. The decomposed body of another young woman was found in a park. An 8-year-old girl was standing with her mom in the kitchen when a bullet from a gang member's gun killed her. The little girl and her mom had just arrived in America. The gang member was shooting at other gang members in the street outside. A hospital van driver pushed a paraplegic out of the van onto a Skid Row sidewalk and drove off. A mentally ill patient in a nursing home was slapped repeatedly by a staff member. The staff member's buddy took a cell phone video of the assault. It showed the staffer laughing as the patient cried. A local TV station reporter went to a huge produce warehouse and filmed a worker urinating on a platform right next to boxes of fresh lettuce. Rats were shown walking throughout the warehouse and nibbling on the produce. Every day, this produce is distributed to hundreds of unsuspecting restaurants and supermarkets in Los Angeles. LA is changing all right, for the worse. This news report is sponsored by Blue Cross Blue Shield. There's some serious problems in Arkansas. High winds and a tornado have sliced through portions of southern Arkansas. People have been injured, and some residents are still unaccounted for. Emergency Coordinator Bob Holly says rescue workers are on the case. We had 2 ambulances set out first, and then when they saw the damage, that's when they called in the troops. Homes and businesses have been destroyed near a major highway at Dumas. A massive winter storm is sweeping through the plains and upper Midwest. It's dumped more than a foot of snow in northern Wisconsin. 7 people were killed on slippery roads, and 100,000 customers have no power in Iowa, Oklahoma, and Nebraska. Locally, police are trying to find a man who sexually assaulted a woman in Alhambra. She described the suspect as about 5'11", medium build, wearing blue jeans, a black jacket, black gloves, brown shoes, and a dark-colored ski mask covering his face. The woman was waiting for friends inside an apartment when the man entered through an unlocked door. He had a gun, sexually assaulted her, and then took her cell phone and left. The woman is in a local hospital. If you have seen this man, please call the Alhambra police. Finally, one person was killed when a high-speed train derailed near London. The cause is being investigated. A woman is standing at a bus stop at noon. A van pulls up. A young man hops out of the van, grabs the woman's purse, gets back into the van, and it drives off. An elderly man is standing on the sidewalk in front of his home at 10:30 p.m. He is admiring the full moon. A car pulls up right in front of him and stops. 2 men get out. One man punches the old man in the mouth. The other man takes the man's wallet out of his pants. They get back into their car and drive off. A woman puts her laptop and purse into her car in her driveway at 3:15 p.m. She starts the car and then remembers that she forgot to turn off the TV. She goes back into her house, turns off the TV, and comes back to her car. Her purse and her laptop are gone. The Department of Transportation built an elevated freeway on top of the 110 freeway in Los Angeles. The new freeway is supported by more than 100 thick concrete columns. Since the freeway was built, each column has been tagged with graffiti and repainted at least 10 times. Late one night, someone managed to raise a heavy metal shopping cart to the top of a flagpole outside a supermarket. The next morning, a 56-year-old supermarket worker hooked up the U.S. flag and started to raise it by pulling on the rope. A second later, the cart crashed down on her. She was permanently paralyzed. When released from the hospital, she told a TV reporter that she forgave the culprit. "Please don't do this again," she said. "You might kill someone, and that would be terrible." A police spokesman admitted that they might not ever find the prankster. This traffic report is sponsored by Cerritos Auto Square. More people buy their car from Cerritos Auto Square than anywhere else in the world. KFWB News Time, 8:01, with traffic on the ones. A cleanup is still underway from a SIG alert in Commerce, northbound at Washington Boulevard. The right lane is closed, and also the Washington on-ramp is closed. They're mopping up from an earlier diesel fuel spill. We have several other problems out there right now. In Pasadena, some wooden boxes are in the number 1 lane on the eastbound 210 at Lake. Be on the lookout, because the faster you're going, the quicker you'll come up on them. Eastbound 60 in Santa Fe Springs, just before Grand Avenue, there's an accident. a couple of cars in the number 2 lane. Then in Pacoima, 118 westbound after San Fernando Road, an injury accident. A car went over the side. It's partly hanging over the side of the freeway. CHP and emergency crews are both on the way, so watch for activity on the right shoulder. In Vernon, 710 northbound before Bandini, watch for a broken-down car on the right shoulder. It's partly sticking into the right lane. A tow truck is en route. Finally, on the westbound 10 before Fairfax, there's a roll of carpet, a ladder, and a lawnmower in the number 3 and 4 lanes.